So this is Everybody Knows by Sonia, one of my favourite albums of the 90s and noughties. And I realise I've already talked about Stock Aitken and Waterman before, but the thing is, I just love this period for them. It's so strong. It's fair to say that a lot of this music came out in '89, but the album was released in 1990, so it still counts. And there are some just amazing tracks on here. It kicks off with You'll Never Stop Me From Loving You, which is a very interesting intro, isn't it? I love the way that we have that drum and that bass, and we have kind of the synths come in. And in that song in particular, which is very much a Stock Aitken and Waterman trait, the way that they use a sampler to kind of keep her vocals going in different ways is really interesting. Other tracks on this album follow a very similar formula. And if you're a fan of a lot of the late 90s stuff of like Steps, S Club 7, you know, bands like that were very fun, very bubbly, kind of bubblegum pop music, then you will love this if you've never heard it. This is kind of where it starts, and Stock Aitken and Waterman were masters at this type of thing. We have Everybody Knows, Listen to Your Heart, which again is one of my favorite songs of all time. Someone Like You, which to me sounds like Steps could do that and no one could bat an eyelid for it. You know, like it's like it's just natural. It's like she has laid down the groundwork for those guys. The way that it starts with that vocal refrain and then goes into the drums kicking in. I love drums in this era. What a great sound that was. Counting Every Minute is a similar thing, although there's very obvious samples in there that are used in a lot of 90s dance, 80s and 90s dance of this era. Can't Forget You is a nice sort of more down-tempo number, and yet still very happy at the same time. We follow that formula with Now I'm Without You, Can't Help the Way That I Feel, Climb to the Top of the Mountain, Because I'm Not Scared to Tell the World I Love You. These are all very good like radio tracks. They bounce out of the radio. Like the Jason Donovan album, there is a slower song on here, End of the World, a cover of the Skeeter Davis song. You do wonder why, but I understand that they needed something that kind of showed a different side to her, and they loved dipping into kind of the classic song catalogue. So it's very much a Stock Aitken and Waterman trait. It's like, let's make a new version of an old song with modern equipment and make it sound fresh. Now, unusually, on this edition, the original pressing, if you can say that about a CD, there's a remix of You'll Never Stop Me From Loving You, labelled as the Kiss Mix. And it feels like it goes on for a long time, but again, it's very much a remix from this era, from sort of 89, 90, but I just can't help bopping my head to it. You know, they keep the main bit of the song, but they kind of put it in a slightly different setting. And I think it really works. So overall, with this album, I just love its bouncy, fun nature of it. And I know she was ridiculed for it at the time, but in hindsight, it's just a nice little nostalgic listen where you can say to someone, this is what 1990 to 1992 in some stages sounded like. Those drums, that sound of the synthesizers, the way that the vocals are produced with the backing vocals right there, and the just the overall happiness of the whole thing is enough to perk me up on a wet Tuesday afternoon. So tell me, what do you think of the album Everybody Knows by Sonia? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you on a future video.